This is a composite tape that we've put together out of many of the Square D Old Timers parties. This is the first one that I had anything to do with on the 2nd of March 1992. It was the first party that I had attended, and it was the last one that we had at the Serb Hall. The location is at the Serb Hall. An overview of the hall itself. Jim Porras, Mary Studeman, Nancy Mai. People as they're getting checked in. We really took a chance there, collecting all that money in cash in that front hallway for all of those meals. Here's John Sparra in the foreground. And Ray Sell, who has always been the guardian of the gate. In the suit jacket back there is Joe from the tool room, Joe Garecki. Right ahead of us in the yellow jacket is Ted Bugle. I view these tapes once in a while just to try to refresh my memory. I'm forgetting a lot of the names. Chet Mastenbrook with his wife. Ann Bartkowski. There's Otis Churchill in the wheelchair. In the fur coat is Earl Vanderlinden's wife and Earl, and here's Scoop Van Dyke. He attended just this one party. Attended the party on Monday and died of a massive heart attack 2 days later on Wednesday. Hank Grotti right behind Scoop. Joe Nolan, Wally Neuwirth over there chatting with Ray Sell. Bertha Weninger, she passed away just this last January, I believe, in '98. There's Ann Tennell at the table. Here's an overview of the crowd getting their places at the tables. And of course, a stage full of door prizes. Bob Milkovich, at the time, was a public relations man for the Pabst Brewing Company. He was also connected with the Serb Hall as he is today. And he got a lot of the door prizes and stuff for us from Pabst. Now that he is no longer with Pabst, he's in full command of the Serb Hall. There's Bob with a gray suit on. Jim Porras. A lot of the faces I remember, but the names are departing. There goes Stanley Plutowski. Pluto just walked across the screen. There's Frank Westenhagen holding his glass, facing the camera. And a tight shot of some of the door prizes. And there I am seated next to Irv Chad. And Tanel and Bartkowski, Chet, Mrs. Chet, Ray and I discussing the weather. And some of the goodies. Here's Nancy Mai and Mary Studeman. Mary, of course, is Carl Englehart's daughter from the Tool Room. Stan Bartnikowski.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wonder if I may have your attention just for a moment. They met with our lunch, first of all.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah?
Father in heaven, your people have always expressed their togetherness and fellowship in the sharing of a meal. As we have come together on this occasion, we remember those of our fellowship who are now in your loving care. Continue to bless us and our friendship as we call down your fatherly blessing upon this meal. Amen.
You would be kind enough to remain seated.
That invocation, by the way, was written by Eddie Mizell. He was sick that day and could not attend the party. I gave the invocation in his place, and it is the same invocation that we use today at every party ever since. There goes one of the Duran boys, just walked across. Dick Blaskowski coming up to the camera in the gray suit. Don't recognize the lady behind him in the pink. Here's Jim Booth. No longer with us. He passed away. Right behind him, Carl Wolf. He's no longer with us. He died a couple of years ago. In the blue sweater, Stan Plutowski's wife. She passed away several years ago. Stan's right behind her. In August of 1992, due to a fantastic increase in price at the Serb Hall, we moved our Square D Old Timers Luncheons to Zorba's on Blue Mound Road. We have been there ever since. I believe our last party was the 15th. Food is good, price is reasonable, location is central, parking is more than adequate. On the left there, that TV screen that you see, we used to run some of these tapes so that people could see the tapes that had been shot of the earlier parties. And apparently they saw them a few times and lost interest. And since there was no viewers or very few viewers, we didn't set the TV and the VCR up anymore. We have endeavored to put about 10 minutes out of each tape with the idea of getting as many faces as we could. Many of these people that we are viewing now are no longer with us. And even if we did that, 10 minutes of 15 parties would be way more tape than anybody would want to sit and watch. So we'll just pick and choose what we think are the most interesting highlights of each party. And there, of course, is Ray at the door, checking their passports. Mary Studeman just walked in. Bob Wilde in the striped shirt. And, of course, you bring out a camera, you always attract a clown. The green shirt is Vern DeVoy with his wife, Christine. He is no longer with us. Some of the faces I recognize, but I can't put names on them anymore. Some of them were office people that I never did know their names. There's Rhea D'Amore with Jim Booth. And, of course, everybody knew Gordy Nurnberg, Mr. Credit Union. In the dark brown shirt is Smith, Ardith Smith, worked in the shipping room. Schmitty, followed by Eddie Engelhuber. Jake Pepito peering between the two heads over their shoulders. Jim Booth and Rhea. Right behind Jim is Bill Christensen.
So you will recognize any of your friends around there. And there's also a portion of the IBEW shutdown party that was run in September, just prior to after the closing of the Richard Street plant.
That was my announcement at the party concerning the videos that were run. If anybody wanted to walk over there and see themselves on TV, they could. John Rozwadowski just off to the left of the screen. He just passed away. There's Jake's wife, Minnie Pepito, in the white and black striped blouse. Don Winkler with the glasses, right ahead of us. Don Manikowski, now at the center screen. Followed by Dick Fintek. Followed by a couple of the office girls. Don Manikowski, John Sparra. Yellow t-shirt is Dale Peck. Jerry Smidle in the striped shirt with his glasses in his pocket. Gene Watson, followed by Harry Craning, yellow sweater, George Pazderts. Fred Krause in the gray suit. Fred passed away this last year. And the troublemaker. There's Lenny Drost. Delmer Perloff in the red and white t-shirt. Marge Butler in the white blouse. She is no longer with us. Frank Westenhagen peering over the table. Wally Newworth, Charlie Meyer in the blue t-shirt, followed by Gene Lompa. Carol Gretzinger in a striped dress. There's Mrs. Plutowski. She is no longer with us. Hayden Kelly, center screen. Henry Hesse is bending over the table, checking out his name. Arnold Schultz in the yellow t-shirt, he's no longer with us. Gordon Daly in the dark glasses. There's Joe Tennell in the glasses. Lois Keller with her husband, Wally. Mr. Churchill again. Art Smites in the blue shirt. There's Nancy and Mary and George Vogt. Teddy Zawikowski, he passed away not long ago. Joe Gorecki having a sip of coffee. Milt Berry at the table with Ray. Bob Morrison. Dan Stange with her Chad. Jim Booth, Jake Pepito, there's Wally Toll with Ann Toll. Eddie Tartowski waving to the camera. And we jump to August of '93. This is where we had a lot of the photos laid out that people could come and pick up if they wanted. And of course a view of some of the food set up by Zorba's. Looks good enough to eat. These are the only exterior shots that have ever been taken, so far as I know. Zorba's, August 1st, 1994. Here comes Chuck Bissett. And of course in the background there is Earl Vanderlinden with his wife. I don't know who the second lady is. There's Scotty. Chuck and Scotty are old buddies. That's our Athenian room. There's Fred Krause. Harris Davidson and Alton Davidson with their wives. Harris is no longer with us.
Gotcha. Okay. Now don't make any copies. There'll be more women calling me up. Want my phone number and address. Okay, put it on here. I got it.
There's Joe Gorecki with Helen. There's our old van. And our Pontiac behind the van. Oh, here's Dan Stange, Jake Pepito with Minnie, Jim Booth with his wife, Betty, Wally Neuwirth with his wife.
There, we get you at the door before you get in.
Dale and Mary Peck. There's Harold having a sip of his beer. He used to be our paymaster way back when. Every Friday he'd pass out the checks. My, how the time does fly. Here it's August of 1996.
Take it too, huh? First I will.
Frank Rondinelli on the left. Gordon Daly, Jesse Harrell. The wallpaper has changed on the wall. There's Vic Novak. He winters in Arizona. He only appears here in August. There's Dick Berg with his back to us. Florence Fons on the left. I'm sure Norby is pretty close behind. There's Hank Grady. Marge Wagner. Louis. Joe Nolan. Bill Krzyzewski just walked in with his wife. There's Ray seated at the far table. There's Ray. And Carlton Engelhardt just came in. Mary Studeman's dad. There's Jake. He was kind of taking over the door duties for Ray that day. There's Bob Moran with his back to us. Alex Homolow in the white shirt. And Andy Trocan in the stripes. Oh, there's Ray. I would guess that by now we have probably captured about 30 minutes of various scenes from the various parties. We're up to 1998 with this one. Try to catch some of the faces that we haven't seen. Jerry Smidle. Teddy Zawikowski back there. Dick Fintek. And some are still coming in. There's Bill Krzyzewski. Ray Wainert, old tool room buddy. Frank Rondinelli again. Frank Tesmer. And I would guess that this pretty well sums it up. They're all pretty much the same when looked at through a camera lens. So with this, we'll just sign off until we run out of tape here.